Alright, update time. So, we built a furnace, we built an anvil. Unfortunately, the anvil takes so much iron to build anything. So, with that in mind, for today's ramble, I've already got an idea as to what I want to do. I'm gonna fake write the next Batman film. That's right, I'm gonna fake write it. What does it mean, fake write? Well, I'm going to come up with an incredibly meaty and terrible script. So, as we all know, Marvel and DC, they basically milk the whole, oh, well, it's a... Oh, okay, hang on. Damn it, stop. There. I don't know why it keeps resetting back to low. So as we know, Marvel and DC, they milk the whole, alternate universe, or it's an alternate timeline. That whole garbage. They really milk it. So you know what? I'm going to write the next excuse that they're going to use for the next 50 years. It's an alternate parallel timeline universe. There, I just wrote it. There. So, how does this go? Well, first off... Ooh, crap. Mine. So first off, it obviously would take place in Gotham. It takes place in Gotham, and of course, underneath Gotham, there just so happens to have been the secret underground government facility that existed since the entirety of Gotham. The entire time. Yeah, that whole jazz. Yeah. This whole thing just existed since, well, basically since the start. And the reason, they've only built a city on top of it just so they can get human test subjects easier. Yeah. Yeah, they would do that, something like that, I would imagine. So, where does this come into play? So this government facility just so happens to also be experimenting with parallel universes. Ooh. Yeah. But they needed human test subjects in order to be able to do something like that, which they also failed. Also today, we're going to be going into the, we're going to find the trading post, which should be easy. Radio Island's cleared out. Discovered trading post. Oh. Does that not tell me where it is? Oh. Well, then where the hell's the trading post? Well, I'm sure we'll find it. That looks to be it over there. So, let's go over there. So, there's this secret underground bunker, government facility thing. And the only reason why no one's found it previously is because they have a whole bunch of entrances all over Gotham. Secret entrances. Kind of like Men in Black. Marlins. I need food. Where are the Marlins? I just saw them. There they are. So, what is this, what does this have to do with anything, you're probably asking? Well, that's the thing. So, apparently, they need human test subjects because they're experimenting, like the government wants to find like these alternate timelines or parallel universes or whatever the hell they want to use now. And they can't really do that unless they succeed in doing so. Like, they need experiments to find out if it works. And here comes the Joker. Once again, the Joker coming around. And he's like, He catches wind that this thing just so happens to exist. And he's like, I think I'm going to go ahead and go in there and see what that's all about. And you know what? Oh, whoops. So, Batman. So once again, Joker has broken out of prison for the 50 billionth time because apparently the justice system refuses to just put him down. Even though he's a mass murdering maniac. Yeah. No, Batman. You can't fix him. You can't fix him. Stop it. Is this the trading post? I guess we'll find out. It's the trading post. About damn time. And... Wow. 8. I wonder what's around here. Can I chop this? I can't! I don't think they're gonna get mad, are they? Probably. I mean, if they have stuff just free and for the taking, I mean, it's gonna be mine. How are you even growing a tree? This doesn't make any sense. But I mean, okay. Mine. So, Batman catches wind that he broke out of prison, and of course he's keeping him on close tabs. Like, okay, I gotta find the Joker and put him back in. You know, but the Joker has other plans, and he takes Harley Quinn with him. Let's see, 3D printer? Oh. Modern gun parts, gun parts, gun parts, gun parts. Ooh. Scrap metal barrel. That's new.
Hey, check it out.
Okay, what do we got? 50 caliber ammo. Can I? And what can you offer me? I don't know. What do you want? Silver coins. Quite valuable. Selling to traders might yield a significant profit. Okay. Advanced parts. Does this not have like any kind of... Well, I don't know how much I'm offering you and how much you're giving me. Ore detector? Detects anything metallic. It seems useless. Can increase swimming speed. Ooh. I'll take that. Marble. Ballistic fiber. No. That seems useful. Increases diving time temporarily. I don't know. Paint. Wallpaper blue. Floor tile European. Well, I already got that one. Provides power for mobile electronic devices. Scooters. Drag to install. Okay. Will quickly eliminating damage caused by radiation. Oh, there's gonna be... Okay, radiation in this game. Alright. I don't know. What do you want? Get lost. Cigars? I don't know what you want, lady. Okay, I guess I must be racking up some kind of weird... Great stuff. Not enough. So I guess I can live without the antibiotics then. Okay, I guess we just kind of deal. Let's trade. Okay. You're a terrible person, you know that? What is that? Mayo Cola? So, Batman now has to go on this hunt for the Joker. But turns out, there is in fact an alternate parallel timeline universe. I mean, I am looking to buy, yes. Tank top E, sleeves top C. Oh. So, now, the Joker has managed to find his way into the facility, and he wants to take it over for himself just so he can find an infinite versions of himself and just cause nothing but a bunch of chaos and havoc. Harley Quinn's interested too, because she just does what Mr. J does, you know, as she normally does. So now, here comes Batman, and he catches wind, and he's like, not today, Joker, not today. I don't know what you're thinking, but not today. And he's like, Batman, just in time. So now they get into some great big fight. And then they, you know, some great big fight ensues, and of course, you know, here it comes. They just fight, they fight, they fight. Woo. And then it turns out the machine works. Finally. They didn't know how to make it work before, but they, after so much human testing... Oh, and by the way, how they human tested and... Oh, okay, I guess I'll just take it all then. So how they did their human testing? Well, they basically promised these people a bunch of payment if they made it back. But they never really made that clear as... Oh, flare. They never really made that part clear, the last part, you know, if you make it back. They just promised this whole big bunch of payment, and they're like, okay, well, yes, we'll pay you. All you have to do is just go in there and do this. Can be built on any wall. Cool. Ooh, mine. Do I just... Okay, well, I don't know what to do with this then. So, they promise payment, but you have to make it back. But they don't tell you that last part. And that's exactly how they've been getting away with human testing. Because no one ever makes it back to tell everybody exactly what they've been doing. So this becomes a problem in a way. You know, this explains why so many people have gone missing and no one can ever find them again because they went into alternate parallel timeline universes. Break. So it turns out the machine, they ended up turning on the machine accidentally due to their fight and their little scuffle. But then Joker, well, they ended up into an alternate parallel timeline universe. Yeah, I'm gonna keep milking that after all. It's what Marvel and DC have been doing for the past, you know, I don't know how many years, but it's what they've been doing. So, here comes, you know, so they get out. And so basically Batman beats him again. And basically they call him Batman, and, you know, even in private, you know, because, you know, they want to keep his identity, a secret. But what he doesn't know is that the machine worked. Yeah. So they end up in an alternate parallel timeline universe, except here's what the difference. It wasn't Bruce Wayne's parents that died. It was Bruce. The criminal that killed his parents instead killed him, the kid. That's right.
Interested in some goods?
I would be interested in some goods if you weren't so expensive, lady. Thank you very much. Alright, let's go back. So, where does this come into play? So, after having delivered the Joker to basically, well, he basically delivers him back to prison and they put him in. But they're all confused, like, who is this guy? What do you mean, who is this guy? It's the Joker. Well, we don't know who the Joker is, but okay, we'll take him in. You know, we'll take your word for it. So, they take him into prison, as usual. And as usual, you know, he's gonna break out eventually. But then there's something strange happening. He goes back to Wayne Manor. But there's something weird. Alfred is there, surely. But what he doesn't know is that Batman is a different Batman. And what he doesn't know is that his parents live. Because it turns out now there's a Batman and a Batwoman. And it's his parents. And they go around fighting crime or something like that, you know, as usual. So, he gets home and he's like, Alfred, good to see you. What a strange time this has been. We'll do some, quick inventory, stuff here real quick. Okay, after some inventory stuff, let's continue on. So, now here's where things get weird. So, Batman returns to Wayne Manor, right? And Alfred's there and he's like, welcome home, Master Wayne. I see she's not with you. Perhaps she's doing something else? Who's she? You know, Batman will ask. He's confused. Like, who's he? Who could he possibly be talking about? Also, we found an apartments area over here, so we're gonna go ahead and explore this while we're doing that. So, Alfred gets a little suspicious. He's like, you know, Batwoman. You know, your wife? Batman is also equally confused, and he's like, wife? What do you possibly mean? I don't have a wife. So Alfred gets confused again, and he's like, perhaps you've taken too much of the Jester's laughing gas, and have you gotten into a scuffle with him again? And Batman is like, the Jester? Who's the Jester? Oh dear, it's a little bit worse than I thought. Perhaps we're going to need a little bit more than, perhaps we're going to need a little bit more of a reminder then. Master Wayne, what do you remember exactly? Obviously, you know, he's suspicious. You know, he wants to try and test the waters a little bit here. Try and find out, is this the real Batman? Also, maybe we should rest up real quick. Hang on. Okay. So Mr. Master Wayne over here is getting a little confused as to what Alfred's talking about. So he has no idea what he's talking about. So he's like, what do I remember? Well, I got into a fight with the Joker. Turns out there was a secret government facility. What's this? A fishnet. Finally! And then, you know, he's like, I see. So he was kind of testing the waters here a little bit to see who is this guy and why is he dressed as Master Wayne? So then he goes off to pretend, you know, to be all nice, like, I see. Well, I see you must have just taken a little bit too much of a hit of the gas again. So I guess we'll just go ahead and, I'll just go ahead and run you a hot bath, Master Wayne. So, of course, Batman is a little suspicious, like, Alfred doesn't really do any of that unless he's doing something that I might regret. I know full well he wouldn't regret it, I hope. So he goes off to go take a few steps, and then he whips out some kind of weird, he reaches behind something and whips out a gun and starts to shoot at Batman. Like, I know who you are. You're an imposter. Batman is confused, like, excuse me, what are you doing? It's me, Batman. What are you doing, Alfred? You are not Batman. You are an imposter. Get out of here. I see that Master Wayne has shown you too much of his niceties, but let me just go ahead and show you that I subscribe to no such niceties. I will use lethal force if I so choose. He, on the other hand, may not, and she may not, but I will. So he's, of course, whipping out a gun, and he's just constantly shooting at him. Batman obviously doesn't want to hurt Alfred, but he's going to have to figure out something. So here comes Batwoman and Batman of this world, this alternate parallel timeline universe, and they hear all the fighting on the inside. Guess that someone must have figured out that these two are Batman and Batwoman, so they come rushing in. They see Alfred fighting a Batman? How strange. So this obviously spurns some kind of confusion. Batman, the original, gets completely confused, and he wonders, who are these two? So now he has to fight against both Alfred and Batman and Batwoman, and it just further spurns more, confusion. So now he's having, obviously, so they try and get Batman, the original Batman, our Batman, and then he's like, no. So they can't really get him because he's well trained. Turns out those two fought in the exact same way as him, trained by the same exact people, so unfortunately it doesn't exactly work for our Batman, considering that, basically it's 2-on-1. With both of them being basically trained in the same exact way, it doesn't exactly work. Meanwhile, Joker, he's a little confused himself, but at the same time, he's not complaining, because now, here comes the Jester. These two have a nice little meeting. They both decide, who's this weird, strange guy? They both say this, by the way. And they can't really figure out who's who. Loot it all! Double door wardrobe? Ooh. Guess I got about 3 more floors to explore here. So now, these two are just kind of getting along, although they're kind of pretending at the same time. And now, and by the way, the new Harley Quinn is now Queen of Cards. And by the way, the Jester, he has pretty much the same story as the Joker, except one key difference. He's now the Jester. Also, he doesn't say, something like, you can't be serious, or why so serious, or anything like that. He says something stupid, like, surely you jest. Oh, and by the way, his laugh is even more annoying. He goes, wee. Yeah. So now these two start teaming up. They're having a great time at the same time. They're just having a great time. They're like, man, I don't know who this guy is, but, I just wonder what we can get into. Metal blueprint? Oh. Oil painting. Welding? I want welding. Where's my boat? Where's my raft? Where's my boat? There it is. So now these two are teaming up. Meanwhile, Queen of Cards and Harley Quinn are just constantly talking about, what Mr. J does for each other. Does your Mr. J do this? My Mr. J does that? Well, surely. He's Mr. J after all. They're just having a great time just talking about their Mr. J. While at the same time, he just doesn't care. But they are kind of enjoying the, the ego stroking there. Like, yes, I'm so cool. Yes. Keep talking, keep talking about me. So, it takes both, and of course, since it's DC, now here comes an NSFW scene. It's basically, hey, you want to swap? Hey, you want to swap our Harley Quinn? Harley Quinn? You mean Queen of Cards? It doesn't matter what they are. They'll allow us to do whatever we want to them. And I think if we want to swap, we're going to swap. So let's do it. And then, of course, cue the sexy scene of, you know, they decide to just swap, and it turns out they're both pretty much the same. You don't need to know more details on that part, but we'll go ahead and skip along. So Batman is utterly defeated because, you know, 2-on-1, same fighting styles. Yeah, it was pretty much not really a fight he could win. Although, ooh, used to repair buildings fast. Mine now. So now, here comes the next part. So, with that being said and done, they managed to capture Batman, and they're going to take him in for questioning now. Like, who are you? I'm Batman. Who are you? That's impossible. I'm Batman. No, who are you really, imposter? I'm Batman. And then Alfred gets a, you know, so it turns out the whole entire fight, you know, Alfred ended up getting knocked out because he was going to use lethal force. They couldn't have him doing that, not against someone who basically infiltrated all of Wayne Enterprises and is basically a really good Wayne impersonator. You know, they needed to know more about this and how it happened. So it turns out they unmask him, and he looks just like his dad. She gets completely shocked, like, Bruce? Is that you? He gets completely shocked too, like, what are you talking about? I'm right here. He unmasks himself, and they're all confused, and they all unmask, and they're like, who is this guy? Well, who are you two? So it turns out it worked. The machine, he finally comes to the realization that he's in an alternate parallel timeline universe. Yep. This is pretty interesting. Yes, this is going to be the one Batman where he actually gets to meet his parents and find out what would have happened if he was actually the one who died instead of them. Yes. And then they have like this scene where they're kind of getting to know each other, and it turns out they finally come to the realization it's their son. Their dead son. But how did that happen? You know, how could this be? You know, he's dead. They even buried the kid. It was a very terrible scene, that one. And he's like, that's strange. I remember burying you two. What do you mean? Well, so they go through this story of how basically the criminal killed his parents and the criminal killed their son. So basically they have the same exact story. But now, here comes the news. Breaking news. And of course the mayor starts calling. He's like, hey, we got some trouble. It's new trouble this time. There's a second jester. So of course they decide to untie him like, okay, I think we have something that we need to do before we discuss anything further. And he said, you read my mind. You read my mind. What do you say we do this as a family? Of course. An extra pair of hands? Not bad. Not bad. So, of course, you know, here comes that whole, you know, at first they were fighting each other, but now they're fighting with each other. Yeah, that whole thing. You know, just like every other Batman versus Superman or whatever superheroes fight each other, you know, first they start fighting and then they start working together. You know, that whole jazz. So now, here comes the next thing. So they have to go out. Turns out the Jester and the Joker are starting to get into a little bit more problems here. Yep, here comes the next one. Okay, well, I think we need to go do an inventory dump here real quick. Okay, we're back after an inventory dump. So now, they're causing problems. They're both robbing banks, and they're just basically going around doing Joker or Jester things. You know, as he normally does, you know, he just can't behave. Oh, and by the way, now there's a bunch of people murdered. As usual. And of course, as usual, well, that's not a problem. I'm sure we can just shove them in prison. So, now, they have to go into separate places. They basically, at first they were at separate places. Oh, I'm gonna drown, I'm gonna drown, I'm gonna drown. Oh. There we go. So now, they have to, so they both converge into one location. Turns out they had some grand scheme plotted, but now they have to well, of course, you know, Joker and Jester, they had some grand scheme plotted. Ooh, gas mask B. Gimme. So now they're kind of in a trap, but they have to fight their way out. But of course, with all three of them now, who have already fought, you know, so well and trained under the same person, basically, or same group, whatever the hell. I don't know, DC and Marvel and all that well. I know there's a lot of you screaming at me, you know, what Batman is, but, you know, don't. Just don't. That'd be great. So now, here comes the next problem. They get into this great big fight ensues, and of course Harley Quinn and Queen of Cards are having a great time because they're joining in. You know, double trouble now. And of course they're having a great time. They're just, you know, they're fighting. But eventually, of course, you know how it turns out. You know, eventually they win, you know, as they always normally do. So then they have to go back to the secret underground facility. But Batman now has to remember, where was it? Where was this facility again? I don't remember. But then he suddenly does remember, because something just so happens to spark his memory of him remembering where this facility is. Yeah. Let's see, I've got 37% of it done. Not bad. What's in this? A record. Diamond ring? Take it! Record player disc 3. I like how these things are named. So now Batman has to take him back to the normal, you know, alternate parallel timeline universe in which he belongs. Because he's pretty sure that something like this is going to be catastrophe. Basically, it could lead to a catastrophe if they don't return back. If not just for simply because, you know, two Jokers together. Okay, that's going to be a problem for everyone. You know, that's basically, you know, two heads of the same... Well, they're still not of the same head, but, you know... And I said sane, not sane, but basically they are kind of the same regardless, but they're not sane. So now he has to return him back. So he takes him basically hogtied, and he's like, Batman, can't we talk about this? You know, we do the same thing. You know, we just go through the motions at this point. Come on, it was a little funny, wasn't it? You got to meet your parents. I'm pretty sure that's something, you know, you can't be mad at me. And then the Jester says, surely you jest. Whee! Yeah. And then, of course, both of them get punched in the face like, shut up, I am not in the mood. So they have this heartfelt, you know, goodbye. Like, okay, so you were my parents after all. I've always wanted to meet my parents, but now I know that you guys, well, you're better than I thought I would be. Well, better than I thought you would be. And they both basically say the same thing. Like, it's good to see what our son has become. Just don't fall into... Come back and visit sometime, won't you? He said, I don't know if that'll be a good thing. And I don't know if that'll actually be possible, but we'll see what happens. They have their little laugh, and then suddenly, you know, he has to go back to his alternate parallel timeline universe. Alternate parallel timeline universe. So he goes, and of course, you know, that's it. You know, but as for an added scene, just for a sort, because, you know, this is the kind of thing that they usually do. There's now another scene, you know, once he exits the portal and this whole entire facility is basically just empty of people for some reason, somehow. He comes back and wants this whole entire thing shut down. And they're like, yes, Batman, right away. We can see the dangers of it all. Obviously they're not gonna, but, you know, they just give him that assurance that, yes, we'll do that. And he's like, I'll be watching. He won't be. You all know that they're going to continue to do it because it's the government. And, of course, they won't admit it's the government's, you know, it's the government's agenda. But, you know, they'll just let them know, yes, we'll do that, Batman. Thank you. Thank you again. You have furthered our science and shown us the error of our ways. We'll do that. So he leaves the facility. The portal goes off one more time. The portal machine goes off one more time. And out comes... another Batman, and this time a different kind of Joker called the Fool, Or maybe the royal fool. And he's like, I guess that machine didn't work. And then he says, don't be foolish. And laughs. And then end the movie. Yep, that's basically the next Batman film right there. Fake written. As cringe and horrible as it was, I'm sure somewhere along the lines, it might make for a not so interesting Batman film. Well, that's my ramble for this episode, so I'll see you all next time. Thanks for listening. Bye.